Hello everyone, I'm Scott Hoke, and welcome to highlighted coverage of the Mecum Chicago auction from the Schaumburg Convention Center. 1948 Chevy pickup truck is up next. 3105 window.
Yep, pure pro built all the way here. All steel body, just a couple hundred miles since completion. Pretty traditional right there. That's a very heavily detailed 350 Chevy, putting out about 385 horsepower, 700R Ford transmission, state-of-the-art build, and I am not surprised we are zooming bids in a hurry. Wow, brought the money to $90,000. Gus Kozar handling the telephone bidder on the other end.
1970 Mustang Mach 1, and go into a little bit of detail on this car.
Yeah, well, top of the line power option. That would be the R code 428 Super Cobra Jet. It was modestly rated 335 horsepower. It's a 4-speed, 391 gears in the traction lock rear axle, and that, by the way, part of the drag pack. This is documented by some original Ford documentation in addition to paperwork from our friend Kevin Marty.
He's the best.
He is the guy, and the colors, it's pretty tough to beat too on this. That yellow with that black trim, black interior, shaker hood, Magnum 500 wheels, BF Goodrich radial TAs. Woo! And we hear the reserve comes off at $94,000.
94 grand for it here. All right, another 2019 offering from the guys at the Blue Oval. Ford Shelby Super Snake here, JK. Look at that engine room.
Yeah, you got to really give a lot of credit to the folks at Shelby American out there in Las Vegas, Nevada, for their ability to create these kind of modern era hot rods. That Coyote 5-liter now putting out an incredible 825 horsepower. 6-speed manual transmission. Check out the polished Shelby wheels. The classic original color combination going all the way back to 1965 with that white with the blue stripes. Not Wimbledon white, it's Oxford white.
Yes.
Much bolder color, but definitely channeling the original. This is a real hot rod.
And the reserve is off at 95.
97,000. Sold $95,000. Haley.
This one takes the cake now. $95,000. What a piece that is. Okay, this is 68 Charger RT, and I'm with you on this one, brother.
Could see a 6-figure bid on this one, guys. I'm just going to put it out there. 375 horsepower, 440 with the Torque Flight automatic, power steering and brakes. The colors and the presentation are spot on. You know, we talk about the 1969 Camaro as being sort of the quintessential style. I'm a big fan of the 66 and 7 Chargers. I can't explain why, but I am. But I think many Mopar enthusiasts will probably look at the 68 Charger and maybe pick that as the quintessential style.
94 bid, 95. 94. Reserve is off. I got 94 bid.
Well, there we go. Reserve comes off. Now, are we going to be off to the races, or is that going to be it? All right, we're at 105.
Did you notice new money jumped in when the reserve came off?
I did not, but thanks for pointing that out.
Yes, it did. Yeah. You're right.
So there we go, $115,000.
And now to, as John calls it occasionally, King Kong, the LS6 from 1970.
Yeah, one of the stars of this auction, 450 horsepower, 454. Restoration completed in 2013. It's got the Turbo Hydromatic 400 shifted on the column because it's got the gold bench seat interior. Feast your eyes on the architecture of that LS6 454, and no, that aluminum intake manifold is not from the aftermarket. That was as factory equipped. One of the most impressive performance street engines to come out of the Detroit era in the 1960s through the early 70s, and the single highest horsepower rating at 450. And notice no stripes and no cowl induction hood, and that's exactly the way that you could get it.
And no power steering, so you gotta,
oh my word.
Yeah, you got to work out a little bit to get around corners.
Reserve is off on this car at $115,000.
Get a bit of a 20, get a bit of a 15, get a bit of a 20 bid. And now 120. Last call, y'all not get a bit of a 20 here. Don't have 120. Sold 115, sold $115,000.
$115,000. LS6 and a beauty. Do my eyes deceive me?
Nope.
No siree. Another Chevelle with that legendary power plant.
That LS6 in a completely different flavor. First of all, number one, versus the black with the gold interior car that we just sold. This one's a 4-speed. This one has got bucket seats. And this one is cranberry red with the black interior. So it's a completely different personality, but also a real documented LS6. This one's got the stripes and the cowl induction hood as well, where the other one didn't. So a lot of differences, despite sharing that common theme.
But not as rare as the other one, just from that gold interior and what it didn't have.
Survey says
Reserve's off!
Reserve comes off. Now the question is, will the hammer drop here, or will it bring a little more?
Yeah.
And we just answered that question. The internet wins it at $120,000.
Flirting with big money on the car on the block. It is a 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Baritz convertible. And enough said, Professor. What a car. A legendary car that we just gush over every time it comes across the block.
Top of the line Cadillac for 1957, Scott, right there. Same owner, last 42 years. The frame-off restoration completed in 2003, and it has earned the coveted AACA Senior Award.
He's at 150. He's got to give 2,500 more, and he owns it. 152.5.
That's easy. 152.5.
I've seen you do a lot bigger.
Make a rule, one bidder.
150. Boom, sold 152.5.
That's it.
That's how it's done. Bidder raises bid from 150 to 152.5. A little bit of a tweak.
Consignor told Dana, he said, hey, I need to get 148 out of it. And
yep, that's how it works.
That's the numbers. We're going to be in that territory in this car. I predict it is an absolute stunner. 1965 Corvette convertible, top flight winner 3 times over from the NCRS.
Unbelievable car here, Scott. Nassau blue with that blue and white interior. But the big news to me, right there, 396 cubic inches, 425 horsepower in the launch year of the big block. Notice no ignition shielding on there. That's such an unusual look, because look in there.
No radio.
Down right down the center pedestal. No radio. So you didn't get the shielded ignition.
165, 170,000, 179. Did you want to pay 170,000? Brian, you're out.
Reserve came off at $145,000. I remember it.
Sold 165,000. Sold 165.
$165,000. 2021 Jeep Gladiator. They're calling it the Apocalypse Hellfire 6x6, John.
Well, and there's lots of reasons for that. You can see right there that supercharger on top of that 6.2-liter Hemi. Yeah, that is a supercharged Hellcat that's been transplanted into this, as well as the 6-wheel drive conversion, and then add all of that wild body work and a lot of upgrades in the interior as well. And this is this is potentially close to a $200,000 vehicle.
It's $150,000 right now.
All right.
Yeah, this is not something that you just do on a weekend. You know, a couple of things here and there. This is a full tilt boogie.
This is if you're really roughing it that weekend.
Yes.
All right, let's take a crowd poll. Who wants him to up his bid to $180,000?
Well, is it going to be 180?
180?
He's going to do it.
Wow.
He's going to do it.
And it's sold. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Mecum Accelerated. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Scott Hoke. So long, everyone.